Hi guys, it's me Chloe and I'm back with another video, and I just want to apologise for the lack of videos lately. I have been aware that I have been needed to upload. It's just been finding time to, and I've had literally a lack of video ideas. I've got this one that I'm about to do and then another one which will probably be next week or the week after this video, depending if I remember. I will try, but I don't want to make promises. But before I get into the video, I just want to say that I'm not professional with anything that I do. I do my, if it's not something I know a lot of, I do my research to find out the best info that I can, and the info's very easily to find. Like, all the info that I've got from for this video is all off from the NHS website. So more contacts and info will be on there if you want to read more and more about it. But today's video, I'm going to be giving advice on grief, so which is obviously what grief can mean many things, like grieving a loved one, grieving a friend, a loss of a thing. Like, even if they haven't physically passed away, you can still grieve for someone, and I think that's what people don't realise. You can grieve the loss even though they're not passed away. You can grieve the loss of the friendship that's fell apart, or the toxic relationship, or etc. Like, grief is so many different things for so many different people, and people experience it so many different ways. What may work for some people may not work for some people, etc. So you have to like pick and try different things and see what works for you, basically, and see what and then once you find what works for you, use that and see what helps. But just know that the recovery of grief or anything to do with mental health is never linear, up straight. It's gonna be you may think you're fine, and then you'll have a dip, and then you'll feel like you're back at square one. But that's fine. That's life, you know. We have emotions, we have feelings, and we can't like mask them away. Like, and when we do, it's only so long you can do it before you have to let it out. So it's always best not to hide and mask your emotions. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop rambling about that and get into the video. So first, I'm gonna tell you the 5 stages of grief, and this is actually really weird because I remember these because from a film that I was obsessed with called The Duff. And it was like the 5 stages of the Duff were basically the same thing, but they took it from like The Simpsons, the 5 stages of grief. But the mum watched The Simpsons and got an idea and said she made it the 5 stages of divorce, and how it was pretty much similar. And how I took, and like, rather than, but I think all of them were the same, bar number 4 was different for her, but it's pretty much the same thing. But yeah, number 1, denial. So when you're in denial, if you don't know what the word denial means, it generally means like you're in disbelief, you don't believe it, you're in shock, you're in panic, and you're just confused with the whole situation. It's not quite processed or hit reality to you yet, sort of thing. 2, anger, where you'll feel or behave and blame yourself or others for whatever's happened, even if it may not be anyone's fault. 3, depression. Like I said, mental health. People can have this without experiencing grief or with grief. Yes, grief doesn't help if you already have depression, but this is definitely a case age. No. Where you feel tired, hopeless, helpless, isolated, and you just, that's like anger and the depression. I think step 2 and 3, 4 are probably the worst stages to be in. Because that's when you'll probably feel the worst, sort of thing. You'll feel worse for all of it, but I think there are definitely ones where you'll be like rock bottom of your journey compared to dipping higher and higher, as I said, like, sort of thing. 4 is known as bargaining, which means you feel like guilty, which kind of ties into like anger, sort of thing. And last but not least, 5, where you accept the loss, even though you are still like sad about it. You accept that they're gone, or if they're not physically gone, like out of your life, and you're just ready to move on in life and heal attempt to heal sort of thing. So yeah, that's the stages, and now I've got a couple of things to do and things not to do. So the things not to do is to not try and do everything at once, because you're just gonna cram your head and stress yourself out more, and it's just not gonna happen. So just set small targets, little achievements for you to do when you feel like you can. Number 2 of things not to do: focus on things. Don't focus on things that you can't change, because you clearly can't change them. So there's no point fretting about it, because it's not going to change. Instead of that, focus your time and energy on helping yourself feel better, whether that's through exercise, doing a hobby, going out with your mates, etc. 3, tell yourself that you are not alone. Don't tell yourself that you are alone, because that's the most common thing that grief or depression will get in your head about. And you definitely are not alone. There's loads as well. As I said, like, this is just some information I got from the NHS website, where I had contact numbers for like bereavement contacts, like to ring or text, or like websites and stuff. There's so many stuff out there, so definitely use the resources that are out there. And last but not least, the things not to do: do not use cigarettes or vaping or alcohol or gambling or any sort of drug or thing that you can get addicted to help replace your grief, because it will just make mental health worse. Sorry. That's all the things not to do. Now on to the things to do. Sorry, just checking time. If you're struggling to sleep, there's like look up like ways to improve your sleep, like sleeping tips and stuff. 2, talk about your feelings to someone you trust, whether that's a friend, a family member, a counsellor if you're getting counselling for it, or just a health professional, whether it's your doctor and then you get referred to a counsellor, or just a therapist, or whatever. Like, anyone you feel comfortable enough to talk to about it, do it. 3, this is something that I did not know of, but the 6 ways to feel happier. And as you say, you can go on the NHS website for this, and that bit's underlined, and you can click it and it'll tell you the 6 ways to feel happier, which is basically simple lifestyle changes to help you feel more in control and able to cope. I didn't physically write them down now, but literally on the NHS website, it's there. Literally, if you search advice on grief or grief NHS website, it'll literally eventually show up if you just scroll a bit. 4, listen if you like listening to stuff, and maybe like audiobooks or guides on like mental well-being could be a really good thing. And last but not least, consider peer support, whether it's like group therapy or like going to like a bereavement support group, or just one-on-one, or family therapy, like so then you with, like, if you don't want to be alone and you don't want to meet new people, like family therapy sort of thing. So yeah, that's everything for today's video. I hope you've liked it, and please subscribe, hit the notifications so you don't miss another video, and I'll hopefully see you next week for my next video. Bye.